How did the Vikings avoid freezing to death at sea? You're one of the most feared warriors your tribe has ever seen. A Viking chieftain who guards his small corner of Norway with an iron will and an iron axe. You might have one of the smaller parcels of land in the north, but you have a reputation, one that makes your rivals fear crossing you. But that's not your most important role. As you watch your wife tend to your youngest and your sons spar in the fields, you steel yourself for the task ahead, because a Viking's deadliest enemy is fast approaching, and there is no way to behead this foe. The inevitable march of winter is upon you. Here in the frozen north, the weather doesn't just turn bitter, it turns deadly. The day brings chilling cold and intense winds, as well as frequent snowdrifts. At night, the temperatures drop to bone-chilling lows that can easily kill. To make things worse, the nights are getting longer, with only a few hours of daylight in some areas. That means there is no relief from the deadly frost. And once it settles in, you are either prepared or it is already too late. You've been planning for months. Your house is built for maximum survivability. A Viking longhouse is one long room made of timber packed tight around a hearth. Smoke crawls upward, sliding through a slit in the roof, while the heat spreads through the house. Even the ceiling is shaped to trap warmth, curving overhead and pushing it back down. So if all goes well, it should hold through the winter. But there's never a guarantee. And that's why it's important to be fortified in other ways. Your wife and daughters have been playing their role. They've been busy sewing clothes designed to keep the bitter chill out. Your tribe keeps a large flock of sheep, and they're sheared regularly. Additionally, the flax crops have been harvested before the first frost, and the yield has been processed into line. This makes for a solid foundation for winter clothing, but it is not enough. The best, heaviest clothing for winter is leather overcoats, and that's provided by the hunt. Because when winter settles in, everything stops. There are no crops to harvest. The water surrounding your camp is starting to crust with ice, and with it, the world shrinks. Voyages slow, raids die out, even travel becomes a gamble. There is still work, of course, fishing through the cold, the occasional hunt, feeding the last of the livestock that hasn't been slaughtered. But venturing out into the winter is only for the hardiest souls. Most people don't roam. Their world is reduced to 4 walls and a fire, so the long dark season becomes a waiting game and a preparation drill. Blades get sharpened, tools get repaired, clothes get stitched from whatever scraps are left, which means that you prepare everything you'll need before winter even begins. So you stockpile what you can, packing it into your larder. Meat from the year's hunt gets preserved before it can rot, smoked over the slow fire or buried in salt until it can last for months. That dried meat along with grains becomes the base for most winter meals. Soups and stews that'll keep you fed and help fight off the cold. And you are not forgetting mead either. You've stored away plenty of bottles, something to take the edge off when the nights stretch long. In a matter of weeks, the northern seas will be covered with ice and all but impassable. The larder is smaller than past years, and you're not confident it'll last the winter. Not for your family and certainly not for the rest of the village. And this means it's time for one more voyage. A few days west of you sits an isolated village, small and quiet, but known for being vicious when it counts. Last autumn, their chief tried to raid your outpost. He didn't make it home alive, and now their island is weaker. A younger, less experienced chief has taken over, and he's not ready for what's coming. You load the longboat with what you need, but not a scrap more. The real prize is the village's winter stores, not your own. For the voyage, you can travel light. You have to, because the sea decides how long this takes. A good wind gets you there fast. Bad water drags it out. And if the waves turn brutal, they don't just slow you down, they'll end the trip entirely. You pack a supply of dried meat as well as several bottles of ale, and you pick your crew for the voyage ahead. Deep down, you all know you might not return. Your eldest son begs to come with you, but this isn't a job for boys wanting to prove themselves. You send him back to the longhouse, tell him to guard his mother and his siblings, and to keep up the hunt here at home. Someone has to make sure there's still food here when you return. For the voyage, you choose men who have done this before, the patriarchs, the ones who have survived enough winters and enough storms to know what the sea can do. Out there, experience matters more than strength, more than youth. Winter is brutal, but the open water is worse. The ship doesn't make it any easier. It's mostly wood. You know that better than anyone. You built it with your own hands. Once the frame is set, it's sealed with pitch and reinforced with animal furs, meant to keep out the water. But that protection comes with a cost. The whole thing is a floating tinderbox, which means no fire on board, not even a small one. So whatever food you bring has to be eaten cold, exactly as it is. No cooking, no heat. And when the night falls in the North Sea, there is nothing to warm your hands. Nothing to light your way, just darkness, wind, and water. Your clothing is more important than ever. A Viking seafarer's clothing is heavier than what you wear on land. Layers of wool and fur meant to hold in the heat when the wind starts to cut through you. Reindeer hide is some of the best protection you can get. The animal was built for this cold. Its coat has 2 layers, one thick layer that traps body heat and another that holds air and helps keep the fur from getting soaked through. Some men add seal hide on top of that. It sheds water naturally, and in open spray, that extra layer can be the difference between staying warm and going numb. The bitter cold of the northern seas chills to the bone. One splash, one soaked sleeve, and the chill starts working its way straight through your bones. And that's why the women in camp matter as much as the men who sail. They use a combination of thick cords and bone needles to stitch the layers together, so tightly they can seal out wind and spray. On longer voyages, women might even travel with the crew to handle repairs as they happen. But this raid is different. It's short, it's fast, and it's brutal. Thankfully, your crew is nothing if not resourceful. Each man comes with their own unique skill. Bjorn has been a close friend of yours for many years, and his strength is renowned around the village. Harald, the oldest member of your crew, is handy with tools and, having been widowed for many years, has picked up more of the delicate skills like sewing and stitching. Ragnar is young but is deadly with a bow and arrow, making him key for holding off the enemy. And Leif, the fiercest warrior in your crew, the one you trust to hit first and hit hardest, he will lead the raid at your side. Behind them are 20 of the hardiest men in the village, each one strong enough to haul supplies back to the boat fast. But first you have to survive the journey. The seas are treacherous and the waves are strong. That means you'll be taking the long route around. Normally you'd stick to the shore, making it easier to track your location and to allow the boat to make landfall whenever needed, particularly when it's time to sleep. The longboat offers almost no shelter. Sleeping on it is a last resort, something you only do when there is no other choice. On land, a fire can be created, food can be cooked, and the crew can bed down in the thick 2-person sleeping bags that were brought along. But even with those advantages, the clock is always ticking. Chunks of ice surround your boat. You can hear it crashing up against the hull. Each thump of ice against the wood sends a shiver down your spine. The craft seems to be holding out. For now, you're already longing for the fires of home. It'll take days to reach the enemy shore. You brace for what's ahead, and then pass out the first bottles of ale. It won't stop the cold, but it'll warm bellies, steady the nerves, and make the first night a little easier to survive. It's not long before the first crisis hits. You moored your ship for the first night, built a fire, and prepared some food. You hope the flame will attract some animals you can hunt. It does, but not the ones you were hoping for. You hear the howl before you see them. Wolves, a whole pack spilling over the hill, moving fast and low through the dark. Your men grab axes. The night erupts, shouting, snarling, blades striking flesh. Your men are ruthless, killing some and driving off the others, but it costs you. 2 men go down, more are bitten. The uninjured do what they can. They clean the wounds, stitch torn clothing back together, and try to stop the bleeding. Deep down, everyone knows the truth. The boat is lighter when you get on board, but you live to see another day. As tragic as it is, Viking crews set sail knowing not everyone is coming back. In winter, death stalks you, waiting for its chance. The crew buries the fallen men and salutes their sacrifice. However, this also means that the remaining supplies will last longer, increasing the odds of survival. And it doesn't stop there. One of the younger men, the one who took the worst bites, starts to burn with fever. He's shaking and pale, barely able to stand. He staggers to the side of the longboat, leans over, and empties his stomach into the sea. And that's when the wave hits. The boat rocks hard. The man is thrown over the side, plunging into the dark, freezing water below. There's no time to react, no time to turn the boat around. He simply disappears, his screams smothered by the raging sea. At every shore stop, the routine is the same. Boil water, heat the food, load it back onto the longboat for later. It's one of the few chances your men will get to feel warmth, even if it only lasts a few minutes. But even with all of that, it's hard to keep your strength up. Every morning you study your crew's faces and you can see the cost. The sleeping bags help, and 2 men sharing one keeps the body heat in, but you can see signs of mild frostbite setting in. Your own face burns, but you know the pain is good. It's when it disappears, when the skin goes numb. That's when the real damage begins. A storm hits hard, and a rogue wave breaks over the side, soaking 4 men in seconds, including Harald. Their clothes can keep out the wind, but there's little that can be done when the water is soaking your hair and dripping down your neck. They do what they can, wringing out the fabric, rubbing life back into their hands. But when you make landfall, they're still shaking. You pair them all with men who stayed dry for the night, 2 to a bag, hoping that the body heat can pull them out of their spiral. It isn't enough. When the morning comes, 3 of them are dead, including your old friend. A somber mood settles over what's left of your crew. Too many men are gone before the real fight has even started. You eat what you can and you toast to the dead. And then, just before nightfall, you see it. Fires in the distance. The enemy. You wait for full dark. If they see you coming, you lose the advantage. And out here, the battle is often won by who strikes first. Your men are ready, waiting for the signal. The mission, maybe even your tribe's future, comes down to the first few minutes. The first rush, the first screams, the first bodies on the ground. Now you can unleash the fury. Everyone knows their role. Ragnar stays high in the mast, bow drawn, watching the shoreline for movement. If anyone rushes the boat, he drops them before they get close. You, Bjorn, and Leif lead the rest into the village. You target the storehouses. They've been preparing for winter too, stacking food, saving meat, protecting what they'll need to survive in the months ahead. You know what taking it means. You sneak up behind the guard and drive your blade in fast, cutting him down before he can make a sound. He collapses without a shout. And then you reach the main storehouse, one hand on the door. And then you see it, a flaming arrow cutting through the air. You've been spotted, a guard you didn't see lurking in the darkness. And now the whole village is about to know you're here. You don't have much time. You grab whatever you can, grain from the bins, stacks of dried meat, anything worth carrying. It'll help if you make it off the island alive. The moment you spill back out of the storehouse, you see them, shadows charging through the dark, weapons up, closing fast. Your men meet them head-on, axes swinging, bodies falling. You cut down whoever gets in reach. But you're fighting on their ground. They know every path, every dip in the terrain, and they keep coming again and again, standing between you and the longboat, until Leif steps in front of you and the horde. He doesn't hesitate, he just fills the gap, plants his feet and steadies himself. He signals to you and your men to run to the ship. The last time you see him, he's fighting 3 men at once, holding them off through sheer strength. But even as he swings, you see more shapes flooding in behind them. 10 more. You cast one more look at Leif and then turn. You shout for the survivors to move before it's too late. By the time the longboat is pushing off, only 9 men are aboard. Over half of your crew is gone. You secure the stolen supplies, lash down the cargo, and turn the boat toward open water. You see Bjorn has accomplished his task. The enemy ships are burning. No one is following you today. Suddenly, the sky lights up. A flaming arrow cuts through the gloom. Time stands still. If it hits the sail, if it punches into the hull, you're finished. No escape, no way home. Just a last stand on enemy ground until there's nothing left. But the arrow finds a different target. It slams into Ragnar's shoulder. He jerks back, losing his footing, and drops from the mast into the black water below. Bjorn is able to quickly grab him before he sinks. You don't waste another second. The sail snaps open, the longboat turns into the wind, and you're off, back into the bitter sea once again. Your men tend to Ragnar's wounds, but the combination of the piercing arrow and the full immersion in the water means he's fading fast. He dies before you make landfall for the first time, and you give him a warrior's burial on land. You'll be telling his tale, as well as Leif's, for a long time. They died as true Viking warriors, but your crew is thin now, and that means the work gets heavier. There are fewer hands on the oars, fewer eyes on watch, so the roles blur. If a man didn't do a job before, he does it now. Out here, there are no specialists, just whoever is still standing. Fatigue quickly settles in during the last days of the voyage. The cold seems to be penetrating every inch of your body. Another warrior died overnight. It's decided it's not worth the effort to make camp for the final night. You'll simply forge ahead, using ale to fortify your strength and get back to the fires of home. Some men steal quick naps when they can, slumped against the wood, trying to claw back a little strength. But the boat never rests. There's always someone awake, eyes scanning the water, keeping you clear of rocks and hidden shallows. And then you see the familiar crags of your own coastline. You rouse the crew one last time, but one man doesn't move. Bjorn lies prone in his sleeping bag. You shake him hard, call his name again and again. Nothing. No wounds, no sickness, just the cold and the exhaustion, and a heart that finally couldn't take it anymore. He was one of your strongest, and he made it all the way back just to die within sight of home. From your experienced warriors, you are the last man standing, backed by a small group of young Vikings. But you have achieved your goal. The food you've obtained has helped secure your tribe's safety for the winter. New warriors will be trained, and they'll carry on the tradition of those who have fallen. Your eyes turn towards home, and you freeze. The sky is black with smoke. Firelight flickers over the coastline. Your village is burning. You see your longhouse swallowed by flames, everything you have built destroyed in minutes. You don't know where your family is. You don't know if they've escaped, if they're hiding, or if they're already dead. They could have been massacred, or worse, taken prisoner. Either way, you'll find out. Winter doesn't matter anymore. You sail again, track whoever did this, hunt them down across the sea. Because whatever cold waits out there, it is nothing compared to the fire you're about to bring. The Vikings weren't the first humans who survived the deep freeze. Watch how did humans sleep during the Ice Age without freezing to death, or watch this video instead.